Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday session with the amazing Hila and Michael, who are going to show us what they're doing with the New Earth Network in the west of Canada. And I am so excited to see all of their how they've evolved. So take it away.
Thank you, Jeanette, and wonderful initiatives. So appreciate the work that you're doing, and we're honored to be here today and to speak to how we in British Columbia on the west side of Canada are dealing with what's happening in our education system and how can we stay resilient in times of change, times of oppression, in very challenging time for parents, as you all know, where our rights are being trampled upon. So my name is Hila. I am a mother, an educator, a group facilitator, and a learning pod leader. Back in 2020, I came to the understanding that it is time to adopt the strategy of exit and build. And we're very much inspired by our friends Derek Rose and John Bush from the States, which were the producers of The Greater Reset. And yes, humanity is going under a great reset on so many levels because we know that the systems are collapsing, they're lacking of integrity. Our education system is very poor in its content, to say the least, and harmful in many ways. So I've been witnessing this for many, many years as an educator in the system, and I've left in 2014 to start my own programs and never looked back since, because as we know it, schools do not attend and cannot attend to our children's needs. And, the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing, hoping for different results. And so it's time to make a huge difference and change in how we educate our children in order to create the new and better future that our hearts know is possible, to quote my favorite philosopher, Charles Eisenstein. So back to you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm Michael, and I'm a father. I have a young son growing up in today's world, and I really truly believe that having the ability to make choices for our family without being restricted to what's available through the public system is very important, so that we can develop and grow within our communities in a more compatible and heart-centered way. What I saw when I saw what was going on in the public system, I attended the protests with Hila, and that's where I met Hila, was at the protests against the injection policies that were looking like they were going to affect schools. And after a lot of uh, deliberate conversations with people inside the system, we recognized that really what it was going to take was for people to empower themselves and create the change together. And one of the biggest vulnerabilities that I feel we have as a society of people is we don't have connection with our tribe and the people that think commonly and want to build with us. And so the New Earth Network came from the need to bring people together, so that everybody who is an individual doesn't feel alone in their path, and to find empowerment and to collaborate. And so that's since for a couple years, Hila and I have been working to bring families together, and we've been hosting events where families discuss solutions and issues that they're overcoming, and yeah, just really bringing people together around the common notion that we want to develop a better place for our children.
Let's move the
Oh,
slide, Michael, please.
Jeanette, we can't hear you because you were on mute.
Oh, I was just saying I love it.
Beautiful. So for over the past few years, we have been talking with people about topics such as taking authority, sorry, Hila, maybe you could take us through the vision and mission before I speak about what we've been talking about.
Sure. So our vision is to co-create a thriving learning pods network, empowering parents, educators, and children to enjoy learning in a community-based setting, expand their knowledge, skills, and emotional intelligence. And our mission is to delivering a user-friendly educational courses and training which inspire parents and educators to develop and lead learning pods programs for school-age children.
So along the way, what we realized was that schools and public institutions were willing to take authority over our families without the responsibility. And as parents, we want to make sure that we're stepping in and claiming our rightful authority in our children's lives. And so in recognizing that, we've had conversations about the harmful ideologies and doctrines and mandates that have been happening inside schools, and then encouraging parents to look into homeschooling and unschooling and other philosophies that are available to be able to implement something that really speaks to our communities personally. And not everybody is going to be the same. You know, the whole notion is that we're going to come together and be different than one another. We don't want to be the same. We want to be different. We want to have our core values instilled into our families. And from that point where we're coming together around the education of our children, I believe that families and communities will develop together to create their own sense of freedom in the world. And so these are the conversations that we've been having with people.
Let's move to the next slide, please.
Throughout those conversations, we've been involved in various interviews on Rebel News. We even have Hila, maybe you could tell us about the superintendent and how that all went down, because that was a very interesting moment where this is what really showed us that we needed to empower ourselves, and that asking for support from the public system was going to be challenging.
Yeah, so I think the COVID time showed us exactly what we are facing. And in the education system here, we realize that we don't have anybody to talk to or anyone that wants to listen to us as parents in this system. We tried calling, leaving phone messages, emailing, and then we had to go there in person just to find that the doors of this public building were locked. We're talking about May 2021, where restaurants were already open, supermarkets were open, malls were open, but the building of the people whose salaries we're paying and are in charge of our children were shut down. So we had to surround the building. There were about 200 people in our first protest, and we were speaking into a megaphone. We were not going to compromise our children, and that was clear to us. So security came and the police came, and eventually the policeman was a mediator between us and the school board administration. And after 2 days of attempting to have someone to speak with us, the superintendent came downstairs, and he was very reluctant in the beginning. It was actually under the policeman's mediation, because hopefully in Canada we still have some rights. So this was very concerning and a turning point in our decision to focus all our energy, instead of fighting the system, trying to change the system. And I do appreciate people that are still doing this, by the way. I'm not against it. But for us, it was crystal clear that we're going to be proactive into building the new education system through the New Earth Network. All the people that are awake and are aware and have a different vision for their children and are into being courageous and start something new and exciting, not just for the children, but for adults, for educators, for grandparents, for community members. This is a shift in our perception of what education is, to create a different result. Should we move to the next slide? Wonderful. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so as much as we want to encourage people through the New Earth Network, really what we're about is being open and decentralized so that people are free to develop and maintain their educational communities in a way that they see fit. And I believe that a centralized system is the how we get into the problem that we are today, where if there's a change, it affects everybody under the umbrella of that system. So we really exist as a form of inspiration, encouragement, and showing what can be done by developing our own ability to empower ourselves and make change within our community. And if everybody takes action within their own community, it's a lot harder to impose upon than if we're all centralized under one umbrella. So if we were taking membership, and it was we were the central authority, you just take out the central authority and everybody runs around like they're with the chickens with their heads cut off. But really what we want is for people to have the ability to see that they are the change they want to see, and take small steps one foot in front of the other in order to create the community and the tribe that we want in our village. So
one thing to keep in mind is that many of us were under trauma response. So we were in a freeze or in a flight, not just a fight. And it took us time to recoup. It took us time to come together and share what we were going through. And at that period of time, usually it's hard to have clarity until we go through this cycle of grief, which we were very blessed to have a community here to do that with. So
we put out a course and an ebook to help people understand how to get started using the knowledge that Hila had from running alternative education programs, and my facilitation for the online course. And then the ebook is really about creating a safe container for our children, for our families. And really what this is for is people who are stuck and don't know how to break free from the old patterns of I send my kids to school, I go to work all day, every day, and obviously there has to be a bit of a desire to shift that patterning so that we can be more involved. A lot of people also don't know how to start in a new education system. So our course helps bring people closer to that reality. Um, and lastly, feeling like we don't have connections within our community. This is what we want to help people do by bringing people together through events, through common interest in developing new education systems, etc. Those who
Yes,
are ready, yeah, Hila, take it from here.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need to come to the understanding that we are the one we've been waiting for. And it's important to get courageous, roll up our sleeves, and and start making those changes in our lives. And in the beginning, it sounds very intimidating. And it's not a surprise that some of us who went through an education system cannot think out of the box. We're so into the what is called the enslavement, and it's hard for people to entertain the thought that they can actually co-create together something that they wish to see. How interesting is that? So those learning pods are not just educational for children, but mainly for us, the adults that have forgotten our own creative spark energy within us. Let's move to the next slide. So we are committed to supporting parents, educators, and others who wish to work with children in starting learning pods, a group of like-minded families who wishes to co-create an alternative community uh, education system for their children. We've recorded a successful online course, and now it's available. And you can learn through it on your own time and pace. So what we did is we actually had a course in the summer of 2022 with participants. We've recorded it, and now it's available online for whoever wants to look into how to start a learning pod, which is basically a group of homeschoolers coming together as a community and making a decision of how the pod will be designed and run. And you can go from implementation in a style that works for your life and intelligently leverages a growing community of learners. And we're here to help you. We feel at ease and supported as you will feel at ease and supported as you discover the joy of leading children's education using the New Earth Network Learning Pod method in our course. And our course is made of 4 main modules. The first one speaks to what is a learning pod, how to design one. There are different ways to create a group and to structure it even as a small business. So it doesn't mean that all parents have to be hands-on at all times. There's a way to share the load like community does, support each other. And there's even a way to design it as a small business. So if someone takes on more of the load, they can be financially supported by the group. The second module talks about educational philosophy and values and how do we infuse it in our learning pods, the ways of which we create curriculum, we decide what we want our children to learn and be exposed to, we integrate them in our community, and we take responsibility not just as parents, but as a role models to our children. We are our children's first educators. The third model is more so about the structure and formalities. With everything in life, if you want to create something of substance that have a long-term resiliency, you must create a foundation and a good structure. So we teach you how to do that, from what kind of a space to choose, a schedule you run, materials you would need for different subjects, and forms that you use for agreements. It's all there in the third module. And the fourth module is how to network and how to market yourself and how to outreach to people in your community and bring them over and sit together and design your learning pod for your children. Let's move to the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is part of our marketing material. And our course is by donation. Give as you wish. Our passion is to awaken a wave of excited families, parents, grandparents, auntie, uncles, educators, all people that can feel into what it is that is important right now for all of us, especially our children who are very vulnerable and right now susceptible to propaganda in schools. So we decided, you know what? We're not going to make a business out of it. We're going to keep our day jobs, but this is our service to our communities right now. And you can look us up at newearthnetwork.ca, and it's pretty straightforward to sign up to our course. And again, take it on your own time and pace. It's a recorded one, so you don't have to be there at a certain time, and it's available for you. Let's move to the next slide. So yeah, from vision to action, we call it the Learning Pods Leaders Training, and it's perfect for parents and educations. And you'll cover the basics, as I said, how to structure a pod, integrating your own values and educational philosophies, building basic business infrastructure, and getting ready to promote and launch your first pod group. Go ahead,
This is
Michael.
something that one of the parents who attended our course said, was that getting the bird's eye view of what it takes in order to start a learning pod helped ease anxiety and give her the confidence to start one step at a time. Throughout our journey, one of the most important things we found was that even though we were giving people the tools through this online course, that our most successful moments have been when people come together and share ideas. So we started a tradition of called a potluck, where we bring people together around food, sharing knowledge, information, community wisdom, and being creative together. What we do at the Podluck is integrating sacred ways of being within our community and sharing that with people who will bring that to the children. So our process of creating a safe space, of sharing honestly and authentically, being engaged and present and clearing energy throughout the process of meeting together and making sure that we're all bringing our highest vibration possible to one another. That practice really helps us be able to show up within community. And so we bring these various practices to the Podluck, where we can have really vulnerable conversations and help each other move through our challenges. Even just having the support of a community to be there and to say, hey, this is something that I'm going through right now, and to know that you're well supported both emotionally and also to come up with solutions, I think is critical and key for us to be able to weather any storm that might come in the future or that we're currently in.
Yes, it's beautiful to see in the workshops how people come out so empowered and so connected to actually their lost vision. And they exchange information with each other. They connect on different topics that are of interest. They realize, oh, we have children the same age. And, this is a grassroots operation. This is about meeting face to face, sharing. We walk them through some exercises that help them get a clear vision of what it is that they want and how to get there. And our course and our ebook are the support material for them to work on it, to stay committed to what they said they're going to do. So it's a lot about learning, again, responsibility and accountability with respect to our children's education, which we're going to be part of.
And our vision is to take these learning podlucks that we've been hosting and integrate into various communities, be able to offer both our course and our ebook in conjunction with the meeting of minds at a very beautiful and unconditional sharing of food and good vibration and really just the planting the seed for our communities to grow from.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yes. And we're planning a tour. We're starting in BC. We were asked to come to Vancouver Island, to the Verdun area, to Nelson area, and we're happy to do that. We're talking. So we're going through a holistic process with families and educators, and we're also open to support them with everything, including building their curriculum. So our first step is to actually introduce the New Earth Network method with our learning pods leaders, and then we can support them with their own challenges on the ground for each and every pod structure. So we can provide that as well. Here are some visuals of
This is really our vibe and what we want to get kids out into the world, being creative, working together. And some of these photos are from learning pods that Hila has been a part of in the past.
Yeah, you know, in a world where there's a threat of transhumanism and oligarchs take over, we realize that it's time to reconnect not only with our inner true nature, but with nature and nature's principles, with being outdoors, with appreciating this beautiful place we're living on, this amazing abundance of everything. And when kids are left being in nature and exploring on their own with support, it is amazing to see their innate abilities to learn, to be curious and follow through, to be playful, to be creative, and to problem solve. Nature is nurturing, so that's a big component of our education, to reconnect with what is real. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jeanette, for the great work that you're doing, bringing educators together to share from our walks of life, experiences, and professional backgrounds to support other people out there that right now are struggling, and the struggle is real and we feel it. So we're here. We're here for you. We're here to support you. Let's keep imagine and vision and take steps to co-create the most beautiful future our hearts know is possible.
And thank you guys for being frustrated with the advocacy piece and creating and building. And a lot of educators just keep hitting their heads up against the wall. And you guys are right. It's just past reform at this point, and building anew and showing, just being those early adopters and, you know, establishing this framework. So when we do get an influx, they will have a support systems everywhere, and it'll be decentralized, you know, just like Michael had been saying too. It's true. Once you start concentrating. We need to collaborate to grow, so that we can retain our own power, but advocate to retain our just our way to, we just want to do what we want as we want. Of course, in the best interest of our children. And, if we work together, there's no limitations. And with millions of communities across Canada alone, that doesn't even include, everywhere, we do need to work together. No one of us can reach everyone. And we're so blessed to have you guys, and all the wonderful work that you do. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to see more growth. And we're going to be promoting you guys so much, because it is, like you said, not easy. So I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us, Jeanette.
Thank you, and all the best.
Oh, all the best to you. Take care.